Hi, my name's Liesl. I'm from Melbourne and I'm a Scientologist. My best friend actually found Scientology after she had a very major car accident which almost took her life, and she had benefited immensely from Scientology and what it had to offer. And I was going through a really tough time at that point as well, and she introduced me to Scientology. I first started using Scientology when I was at literally the end of my rope. I had no life left in me. I had been broken down into, it's very difficult to talk about because it was such a low point. I'd had all of the hope and promise in the world. I was raised really, really well by an incredible family, had a great education. But I took a couple of wrong turns and I got involved with a couple of untoward people. And that led me down a path that I don't want to say that I wish I'd never walked down it, because I would never have found Scientology otherwise. But I first started using it when I had nothing else left. I had turned to every other help that there was in the world. I had seen numerous psychologists, psychiatrists. I'd been given all kinds of medication to assist with my personality disorders, as per se. But yes, I really had nowhere else to turn, and I had seen the tremendous amount of gains that my best friend had made, and she was just living a magnificent life and shining after coming out of a nearly fatal crash, where doctors said she would probably not walk again normally, and she just went in for some Scientology, and here she was dancing again and just being even more active than before. So I had to try it, and it did the same for me. I started on the bridge, which is the steps towards what Scientology refers to as complete freedom, spiritual freedom. And one of those first steps is the purification rundown, where you actually sit in a sauna and take heaps of vitamins and lots of calcium and magnesium and great nutritious food, and you actually sweat out all of the toxins in your body. And through doing that, I had completely detoxed a lot of the chemical dependency that my body had so become to rely on. What doesn't it help me with in my day-to-day life? Everything I do has got some of the tenets of Scientology in it. You know, from business, I run a really large lead generation team for a marketing consultancy, and that's a pretty challenging and tough role, because nobody likes telemarketers, and we have a job to do, but we do it, you know, with ease, because we have so much technology behind us that assists us in communication. There's ways to acknowledge people so that you don't impinge upon them in a negative way. There's ways to control people's communication and their response to you so that they're willing to talk to you. And that's just a basic course like the Success Through Communication course, which can help so many people, because when you realize just how out of control communication is in this world, and you're able to put some control back in on the communication of human beings, you can achieve tremendous results. Not too long ago it was mentioned that telemarketing and lead generation via the telephone was absolutely dead, gone and buried, and we've revitalized that, and it's our most successful arm in our business. So I use it in business every single day. I use it with my family, I use it with my husband, and just absolutely everything I do is based on, you know, Scientology. Scientology has enabled me to realize a lot about myself, primarily that I'm an extremely powerful human being with limitless potential. I think the viewpoint that I have is I can always be better, I can always be greater, and there's just, the sky is the limit. Actually, it's not. Scientology has helped me to help others in numerous ways. I've got such a sweet little story. My 2-year-old daughter, the other night, she had eaten something that made her stomach really, really sore, and she was in a lot of pain and just saying, "Mommy, my tummy, my tummy." And there's such a simple process that one can apply to assist a body, or somebody's body, or your body, when it's in pain, called an assist. And I just gave her one of these simple little assists, and within 2 minutes, it was like nothing had ever happened. She was on the floor, writhing in pain, and really, you could just see her. I was hurting for her. And I gave her this assist, and within 2 minutes, she was out of it, and she was running around like nothing had ever happened. My husband and I are both feisty creatures. We both come from the music industry, so we've got a lot of fight and feist in us. And yeah, we went through a rough time. a few years back, and we went in for marriage counselling, and we've never been the same. It's absolutely incredible. I think I love him even more now than I ever did before, you know, when we were in our honeymoon phase. So yeah, the marriage counselling is absolutely unbelievable. I highly recommend it. But to say again, it's for the courageous. You got to have courage to do it. What area of my life has most improved by applying Scientology? I can't pick one, just because it is such a vast subject. It's the subject of life and livingness and you as a spiritual being. There isn't one that is improved more than the other. They've all exponentially improved to the point where it's very difficult to put into words. My marriage is incredible, absolutely incredible. I'm married to my best friend, and I'm just so lucky, and I think he feels the same way. My daughter is amazing. My work is incredible. I love my work. I love the team that I work with. I'm able to inspire people. I'm able to enable people who weren't necessarily or thought they weren't capable of doing a certain role or job. And once I help them to overcome that fear of doing something that they didn't necessarily think they could do, yeah, when I see the change I can bring about in people in my immediate environment, that's a huge plus. To me, what is Scientology? Loaded question. Everything. Absolutely everything. I actually can't even answer that question. It'll take too long, and I think I only have 5 minutes. But it's absolutely everything. It's the ability to be able to overcome anything. Absolutely anything. There's nothing that you can throw at me or at my life that will shake us or me personally. Before Scientology, I was knocking at death's door. In fact, I was inviting it. It was too painful. I had made too many mistakes, and in my heart of hearts, I know that I'm a really good person, but I just taken too many wrong turns, and I had gotten involved with too many of the wrong kind. So I had lost hope, and yeah, I was solving problems with the wrong solution. So yeah, my life is different now because I'm alive, and I'm doing really, really well, and I'm unstoppable. My favorite thing about Scientology is definitely the people. They're such a fun, loving, happy group of people who are just so determined to make a difference in the world, and that's right along my lines. I really want to make a difference in the world, and I want to do it with a group of people who are successful and who are always happy and know that they can do it, because you can't really do much if you're always in a state of despair or, you know, there's no hope. You've got to be really emotionally strong and willing to push through, and yeah, enthusiastic. I like being with a group of enthusiastic individuals. You've got to be strong in order to live life well. And if I didn't have tools to be able to use on an everyday basis to overcome the various things that were thrown at me, I would be a bit concerned for my future. I've seen where I've come from. After having an incredible childhood, an incredible upbringing, educationally, you know, empowered, yet I ended up in the gutters. So yes, I definitely know that even strong people can take bad turns and not do so well. So now I have the tools that I know if anything gets thrown at me, I'll overcome them with ease. It's hope, and it's more than hope. We're doing it. We're actually doing it. To be able to effect change onto a very, very embattled world is everything.
Hi, my name is Yvonne. I'm from Melbourne and I'm a Scientologist. I first heard about Scientology when I was having lots of trouble in my relationship, and my boyfriend was in America at the time, and he found out about it and then rang me up and said, "I've found the answer." And then we walked into the church in Melbourne and found the answers. The troubles I was having at the time were your typical 20-year-old sort of problems that you have with your boyfriend. There were drugs and, you know, promiscuity and going out, night clubbing, and just not being honest with each other, and it was really stuffing up our relationship. I had marriage counselling, and that was done with me and my boyfriend, and we got in communication with each other and were really honest with each other and opened up to each other about what we'd been doing and stuff like that, and it just stopped all the lies and there were no more secrets, and we were able to be honest with each other, and then from that it just freed everything up so that we can get into communication again and just move on from there, and it really helped. It worked. Well, now Scientology helps me every day. I use it in everything I do. Like, I don't even realise that I am using it. It's just become part of me. I communicate better with people. I listen. I acknowledge what they say. There's lots of affinity, lots of agreement on what we talk about, or if there isn't, we sort of will keep talking and sort things out. There's a way more understanding. My family's much happier. Yeah, I help my kids. Yeah, it's good. I've just become more me and not tried to be like someone else, or take on someone else's personality, or try to be like that pretty girl over there or that perfect person over there. I just became more me, and by doing that there was no falsities about me, and it was just easier, and that just made everything easier. Scientology's helped me to help other people, my God, so much. Now I work at the church. I've been working there for 15 years and I'm a counsellor, and I help people every day, real help. I don't evaluate, and I don't tell the person what their problem is or what their issue is. We have specifically designed questions that help the person figure it out for themselves, and when they do that, it's way more real to them, and they realise it for themselves, and then they really use it. I do that every day, and people just are so much happier. It's the best thing. The area that's improved most for me with using Scientology and being a Scientologist is probably my family. Before, when my kids were really young and I wasn't a Scientologist, it was pretty tough. I had a son that was full on and very active and really made it hard for me. I couldn't control him, and so, but with Scientology I learnt that, I just learnt about communication and learnt about how to handle him so that it doesn't break his spirit, and things just got calmer, just slowly but surely. Everything got calmer at home, and now my kids are grown up and I help them all the time if they need it, with their relationships or whatever. I can help them in anything. To me, Scientology it's life. It's a way of life. It's happiness. It's ability. God, it's me. Before Scientology, I didn't have any tools or knowledge of what life was about. I didn't have any idea of what was right and wrong. I had no moral code. There was a lot of confusions. There is a lot of confusions out there about what is right and wrong. Do you take drugs? Do you not? Is it okay? Is promiscuity okay? I learnt what is right, and I apply that and I use that, and now my life's simple. Now it's simple, happy, creative, just full of life, and it's exciting.
Why does someone who is doing well in life suddenly worsen or begin to fail? It's almost as if some people are living their life on a roller coaster.
Great interview.
Thank you.
You'll be hearing from us very soon.
They're up one day
Thank you very much.
and down the next. Why does life sometimes seem so stressful? And what causes us to become uncertain about our abilities or our goals?
Matt, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't know.
Well, there is an explanation for this behavior, and it has nothing to do with bad luck or fate. Each of these people is experiencing suppression. In other words, someone is trying to squash them, hold them back, or make them fail. The truth is, there are certain people who are actively trying to prevent the rest of us from doing well.
So, it's time to start applying for colleges. Have you given any thought to this?
Yeah, I'd actually like to get a degree in chemical engineering. I'm interested in researching environmentally friendly biofuel technology.
So much so that if you have a purpose or a dream in life, they will squash it.
Really? Years of study. I'm looking at your grades and I see that you have some aptitude for science, but everyone knows that's a highly competitive field. Have you considered your other options? How about community college?
So how can we tell who these people are? Well, there are in fact only two types of people: the social personality and the antisocial personality. And in Scientology, it was discovered that each have very different but identifiable behavior patterns. For example, the social personality, by nature, wants to survive well, and wants others to survive well too. Whereas the antisocial personality thinks all other people are his enemies, to be openly or secretly destroyed.
Hey! You dropped your wallets.
You see, they don't trust people to a point of terror. Since crime and criminal acts are committed by the antisocial personalities, it's this second type that is the root of most trouble. And unfortunately, they tend to go undetected.
Eve! I just had the best interview. I really think I'm gonna get this job. They really like me. That's my new dress.
And?
I haven't even worn it yet.
Wow.
While their actions are calculated to be destructive,
Calm down, Em.
they appear quite rational,
You always make a big deal out of nothing.
and they can be very convincing.
It's just clothes.
I'm sorry, you're right. Have a good time. It looks really pretty on you.
I know, right? Thanks.
Their basic intent is to keep others down. So they compulsively and cleverly do just that.
Did you hear? They say there's going to be layoffs, budget cuts. Any of you teachers who aren't cutting it. Has anybody seen the sugar?
Artists in particular are magnets for these people, who view their art as something to be destroyed. So as a friend, they try to do just that.
I'm awfully sorry. I didn't mean to get your hopes up. Let me be honest with you. Everybody in town thinks that you're, well, just not good.
Where dreams mysteriously shatter, look for the antisocial personality hidden in their midst.
Why the failing grade on your test? It's as if you didn't even try.
Why should I? What's the point?
Even though they make up only about 20% of the population, the havoc they can wreak can be devastating. It would save us all a lot of failure and heartbreak if we could detect who these people are. Fortunately, in Scientology, it was discovered that these people can be detected simply by examining their conduct. You see, there are actually distinct characteristics that all antisocial personalities have in common. And these same characteristics, reversed, will be found in a social personality. Compare one list against the other, and you'll know which type you're dealing with. For example, an antisocial personality has a bad sense of property and thinks that nothing is really owned.
It's just clothes.
But a social personality knows that property belongs to someone, and its theft or misuse is frowned upon. Here's another example. A social person is eager to relay good news and tends to be specific about who said what and what exactly they said.
So, great news. The Voice called you a genius. Great work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Whereas the antisocial personality does the complete opposite with communication.
No, she's not. What is this regarding?
They will not pass on good news.
A job. Yeah, I think she mentioned something about an interview. I'll let her know you called. Oh, finally, I'm starving.
I'm sorry, it was so...
Good news is stopped.
Did I get any calls?
No.
And they speak in generalities, using expressions such as "they say" and "everyone thinks."
Did you remember the hot sauce?
No, I forgot.
Well, everybody knows you do that.
While a social personality tends to reassure those around him,
You're one of my top students. I know you can do this.
the antisocial person deals mainly in bad news
Did you hear? They say there's going to be layoffs.
and critical or hostile remarks.
You always make a big deal out of nothing.
Furthermore, the antisocial personality will alter communication to make it worse.
What do you think of him?
He's got some growing to do, but he shows a lot of promise.
Let me be honest with you. Everybody in town thinks that you're just, well, not good.
As a result, those associated with an antisocial personality tend to be unhappy and behave in a crippled manner in life. And they get sick more often than others. On the other hand, a social personality's friends and associates tend to be well, happy, and of good morale. It's easy to see how important it is to be able to spot who these suppressive people are. Once you know who's behind your unexplained failures and misfortunes, you'll be able to change your life for the better with solutions that make those ups and downs a thing of the past.
Well done. Good job. You're so on. All right.
With these tools, you can choose your friends and associates wisely and build a better life for yourself and those around you. Once relieved of the burden of suppression, anyone can lift their head, become well and happy with life again.
I'd like to introduce you all to the hottest new artist in town.
Armed with this knowledge, there's no limit to how much we can all flourish.